on the road, and it's also back in the days when nobody made any money. Those guys made like no money. We were getting like $100 a show back in those days. And the money was made off of selling t-shirts, but at the end of a 10-day run there wasn't much left. And we were done, and we were coming home. We were coming from the East Coast, probably Boston is where we usually ended shows, ended tours, and we're deadheading back to St. Louis. Well, we had been driven all through the day, all through the night. We get down there, we get just outside Indianapolis, on the east side, right around Highway 465. And just the van, it's middle of the night, the van just stopped. Just completely, everything went off, like the motor wouldn't go. Lights still worked, everything was fine, but it just wouldn't, nothing. Okay, I thought, were we already gas? No, we just recently got gas. And so we coasted off to the side of the highway. And we get on and it just coasts over, and we don't know nothing about cars. You know, what are we going to do anyway? It's the middle of the night. It's in the dark side of the interstate, and we ain't got much money, I'm telling you. So we're kind of worried about this pretty bad. And then, like literally just minutes, almost instantly after we pulled over, a tow truck comes in right behind us. He's like pulls up and actually passes us and pulls in front of us. And on the side of his truck, we saw it as he went by. It said, "Need a tow, call Joe." All right. So he pulls up in front of us and comes to a stop, and he comes back, and you know, I was driving, rolled the window down, and "You guys need a tow?" And we're like, "Well, probably, you know, I don't know, what's going on." Anyway, to speed that part of the story up, it's like, so he decides that he will tow us, and we're like rummaging through what money we have left to see if we can afford this tow, because we asked him how much is it, and he said $60, and we're like, oh shit, you know, it's like, maybe we have that much, I don't know. But we didn't have cell phones or anything, you know, so it's kind of like we're like thinking that maybe maybe somebody's parents can help us out here, I don't know. So Joe does something highly illegal, and he decides that he will tow us all together, since we're in a hard thing, and let 3 of us stay in the van back while he jacks it up and tows it. There were 5 of us on the road together. It was myself, Jeff Tweedy, Jay Farrar, Mike Hydorn, and their sound man at the time, whose last name I can't remember, but we called him DJ Kevy Kev Kess. Okay? So DJ Kevy Kev Kev, Jay, and Mike stayed in the van, and me and Jeff went up and rode with Joe in the cab of the tow truck. And he's going to take us to a Firestone he knows about that's not far off the highway. But we don't, you know, it's middle of the night, they're closed. So we're going to have to drop it off. And we have to, like, now try to find a hotel to stay in or whatever. So me and Jeff hop in the cab, and Joe's getting ready to pull out. And he says, "Boys, last time I was in this part of town, I spent 3 days in jail." We were like, "Well, what happened, Joe?" He's like, "Well, it's just like y'all." He said, "There was a girl on the side of the road with her hood up, and I just came over, it was nighttime, and I pulled over, and I got in front of her, and I said, 'You need a tow?' And she said, 'Yep, I need a tow.' And she said, she asked me, 'How much does it cost?' And I said, $60. And she said, 'Well, will you take a blowjob?' And Joe says, 'Well, hell yes, I'll take it.' And then she whipped out a bag. And she She took advantage of Joe. Anyway, so then, as we're heading for Firestone, with no idea what the hell we're going to do, we passed some kind of like hotel that's like $24.95 or something for the night. So we decide, okay, we might have enough money to do this. We get the van down to Firestone. We pay Joe. We can get somebody to call their parents, collect, and maybe we can get a credit card and we can get this taken care of and get out of here tomorrow morning. So what happens is, for some reason, me and Jeff stayed in the cab with Joe, and we dropped the van off and filled out the nighttime repair slip and whatever, you know, and dropped it off. And then Joe, on his way back to the highway, took us back to the hotel where we left Jay, Mike, and DJ Kevy Kev to get the room. So they got the room. We get there. The van's at Firestone. Joe dropped us off. Everything's okay. We figured we might have just enough money to like get a cab in the morning to run some guys back down to Firestone and get the van. So we figure we'll send them early in the morning. And then we'll wait in the hotel room, and then they can come get us with the van, you know, by checkout time. So that we picked that the crew to go to Firestone was going to be Jay and DJ Kevy Kev Kev. And I don't know why that was the case, whether Jay had the parental thing or whatever. But for some reason, those were the two picks. So me, Mike, and Jeff stayed in the hotel. Those guys went at the crack of dawn. Like, you know, we saw that Firestone opened at 6, so they went down there. You know, they got a cab, went down there a little before 6. Got down there, and we just went back to sleep. Well, you know, then we wake up later at 10 o'clock or whatever, and they're not back. And then 11 o'clock, and they're not back. And it's just pissing down rain outside, just pouring down. And we're in the hotel room, and noon comes, and they're not back. We don't have cell phones. We don't even, like, really know the friggin' phone number. And we kind of weren't worried, you know. It was kind of like an adventure. And the whole thing about this, too, is back in those days, since you didn't have cell phones, you got into party situations, whatnot. I had not called my girlfriend since I left St. Louis. And this was like the 10th day of the friggin' run, where now I'm not home. I'm not at home, and I should have been home. I still haven't called her. You know, it's like I was a bastard. What can I say? And so anyway, so noon comes, 1 o'clock comes. Finally, like about 1:30, they're like really banging on the door to kick our asses out of the hotel room. And, you know, it's like, we're going to have to charge you again. You got to get out, like, right now. So we had to go. There was like buckets of rain. And straight across the road was a tavern. There was a bar. So we got 3 guys with 5 guys' luggage going to a bar, and we ain't got no money because we gave it all to those guys to pay for it. So we got 3 guys, 5 guys' luggage, go to the bar across the road. We're soaking wet when we get there because we had to cross the road in the rain. So we got all this luggage, and we're sitting there, we ain't got no money, we can't buy any drinks, we can't do anything. And time's just going and dragging and dragging and dragging, so much that different groups of people were coming in and leaving, and as was the course of the day while we were there, and every group that would come in and play fucking John Mellencamp. And we look like a bunch of freaks. We're soaking wet with 5 guys worth of luggage. Ain't nobody going to buy us a drink in this place. And so with nothing better to do, I decided at that point, well, maybe I'll make a collect call to my girlfriend. All right, just to let her know what's going on. Which that turned out like you think. That was really bad. And anyway, the day wore on. It was just friggin' hell. And finally, about 10 o'clock that night, I guess it was probably about 9:30. All of a sudden, in front of that bar comes DJ Kevy Kev Kev and Jay with the van. We don't know how they did it, how they paid for it. We had no idea, but we jumped in there. We were as happy as hell. I went home, fought it out with my girlfriend. We eventually made up. Everything was awesome, and then I wrote this song about it. So there's